Have you ever noticed that some gardens remain filled with colorful blossoms until autumn, while others lose much of their beauty shortly after summer begins? Most perennial flowers produce an impressive display for only a limited time before their blooms disappear, but a special group of plants continues flowering for months without slowing down. These exceptional perennials seem determined to keep blooming until the first frost, often looking as fresh in early fall as they did at the beginning of summer. Even more impressive, many of them require very little attention, tolerating drought, heat, average soil, and occasional neglect while rewarding gardeners with continuous waves of vibrant flowers. In this video, we'll explore several outstanding long-blooming perennials that keep borders colorful from early summer well into autumn, provide valuable nectar for pollinators, and return reliably every year. Some are well-known favorites, while others deserve much greater recognition for their remarkable performance. Stay until the end because one of the final plants blooms so continuously that many gardeners mistake it for an annual. 1. Balloon flower. Balloon flower is one of the most distinctive and enjoyable perennials a gardener can grow because its beauty begins long before the flowers actually open. The developing buds gradually expand into perfectly rounded balloons that seem almost artificial before suddenly splitting open into elegant star-shaped blossoms. This fascinating transformation alone makes the plant a conversation piece, but its appeal extends much further. Once flowering begins, balloon flower continues producing fresh buds throughout the summer and frequently keeps blooming well into autumn, providing a much longer display than many traditional perennials. Removing faded flowers encourages even more blossoms to develop, helping the plant remain colorful for months. The flowers themselves are graceful and refined, with classic varieties displaying rich shades of blue and violet, while modern cultivars offer soft pink, lavender, and pure white blooms that blend beautifully into cottage gardens, mixed borders, containers, and naturalistic plantings. Its upright yet relaxed growth habit adds structure without appearing stiff or formal, making it suitable for almost any landscape style. Despite the delicate appearance of its blossoms, balloon flower is remarkably resilient once established. It tolerates hot weather, temporary drought, and changing seasonal conditions with very little difficulty, while deer and rabbits generally leave it untouched. One feature that occasionally surprises gardeners is its late emergence in spring. Unlike many perennials that begin growing early, balloon flower waits until warm weather becomes consistent, leading some people to believe the plant has disappeared before fresh shoots finally emerge. Bees are frequent visitors to the nectar-rich blossoms, bringing additional movement and activity into the garden throughout the flowering season. Watching the balloon-like buds slowly expand before opening into elegant flowers provides weeks of visual interest even before the blooming period reaches its peak. For gardeners searching for a unique perennial that combines unusual beauty, long-lasting flowers, resilience, and minimal maintenance, balloon flower is an outstanding choice. 2. Bee balm. Few perennial flowers bring as much energy and wildlife activity into a garden as bee balm. The moment its colorful blossoms begin opening, the entire landscape seems to come alive with bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds constantly visiting the flowers throughout the day. Its unusual blooms resemble bursts of colorful fireworks rising above the foliage and are available in brilliant shades of red, pink, lavender, purple, and magenta that instantly brighten any planting. One of bee balm's greatest strengths is its exceptionally long flowering period. While many perennials slow down during the hottest weeks of summer, bee balm often reaches its peak at exactly that time, and with occasional deadheading, continues blooming well into early autumn. Its value to pollinators cannot be overstated. Hummingbirds repeatedly return to feed on its nectar-rich blossoms. Butterflies gather around the flowers in large numbers, and bees remain constant visitors throughout the blooming season, transforming quiet garden beds into thriving wildlife habitats. The plant also offers attractive aromatic foliage because it belongs to the mint family. When brushed or gently crushed, the leaves release a pleasant herbal fragrance, and several species have traditionally been used to prepare herbal teas and botanical remedies. As bee balm matures, it develops into large, dense clumps covered with colorful flowers that add height, fullness, and strong vertical interest to perennial borders, while blending beautifully with neighboring summer-blooming plants. It performs best in sunny locations where good air circulation helps reduce the risk of powdery mildew, particularly in humid climates. Fortunately, many modern varieties have been specifically bred to offer improved resistance to common diseases, making them easier than ever to grow successfully. Despite its dramatic appearance, bee balm is remarkably dependable, returning year after year and becoming increasingly impressive as established clumps continue expanding. For gardeners looking to combine months of brilliant flowers with abundant pollinator activity and vibrant seasonal color, bee balm remains one of the finest perennial choices available. 3. Coreopsis. If flowering endurance were the only measure of a garden plant's value, coreopsis would rank among the very best. Instead of producing a brief burst of flowers before fading into the background, this cheerful perennial continues blooming from early summer until the first autumn frost in many gardens. Throughout the season, it produces countless daisy-like flowers in vibrant shades of yellow, gold, orange, pink, red, and attractive two-toned combinations that often become so numerous they nearly hide the foliage beneath. One reason coreopsis performs so consistently is its ability to continuously replace older blossoms with fresh flower buds, allowing the display to remain colorful for months. While removing faded flowers can encourage even greater production, many modern cultivars continue blooming abundantly even when given very little maintenance. Another reason for its popularity is its remarkable adaptability. Coreopsis thrives in full sunlight and often performs better in average or relatively poor soil than in rich, heavily fertilized ground, where excessive leaf growth may reduce flowering. This preference for modest conditions makes it ideal for gardeners seeking dependable beauty without constant care. Once established, the plants tolerate prolonged dry weather and continue blooming through periods of heat that cause many other flowers to slow or stop altogether. Their nectar-rich blossoms also attract large numbers of bees and butterflies, adding movement and biodiversity while making excellent long-lasting cut flowers for indoor arrangements. Plant breeders have introduced an enormous range of varieties suitable for almost every landscape. Compact selections fit perfectly into containers, borders, and small gardens, while taller cultivars create flowing drifts of color through larger perennial beds. Flower colors now range from classic golden yellow to rich crimson centers, delicate pastel shades, and striking multicolored patterns that greatly expand design possibilities. Thanks to its extraordinary flowering period and dependable performance, coreopsis often becomes one of the most valuable sources of color in the garden, continuing to brighten the landscape throughout the hottest part of summer and well into autumn. Few perennials offer such an outstanding combination of beauty, durability, adaptability, and low-maintenance reliability. 4. Blanket flower. Blanket flower fills the garden with the rich, glowing colors of a summer sunset, producing vibrant blooms in brilliant shades of scarlet, orange, yellow, gold, bronze, and deep crimson. From the moment flowering begins, this hardy perennial rarely slows down, providing an almost continuous display that lasts from early summer until the arrival of autumn. Its remarkable endurance comes from its natural origins, as blanket flower evolved in open grasslands and dry prairies where plants must withstand blazing sunshine, poor soil, and long periods without rainfall. Because of this background, it flourishes in conditions that challenge many other flowering plants, often performing even better in sandy or nutrient-poor soil than in heavily fertilized garden beds. Mature plants remain covered with colorful blossoms for months, making them one of the most dependable sources of lasting color in sunny landscapes. The flowers themselves are striking, with many varieties displaying fiery red centers surrounded by golden yellow petals, while others feature glowing combinations of peach, copper, amber, burgundy, and burnt orange that seem to shimmer under bright sunlight. Held on slender stems above soft foliage, the blooms sway gently in the breeze, bringing movement and energy to flower beds. Their nectar-rich blossoms are equally attractive to wildlife, drawing butterflies, bees, and numerous other beneficial pollinators throughout the growing season. Another reason for the plant's popularity is its exceptional durability. Blanket flower asks for very little in return, thriving with minimal watering and rarely requiring fertilizer. In fact, overly rich soil often encourages leafy growth at the expense of flowers, making simple growing conditions the best choice. Although removing spent blooms can encourage even heavier flowering, many modern varieties continue producing blossoms generously, even without regular deadheading. Blanket flower also blends beautifully with other drought-tolerant perennials such as lavender, salvia, yarrow, Russian sage, and ornamental grasses, creating colorful, low-maintenance landscapes that remain attractive for months. Even a handful of plants can transform a sunny border into a vibrant display, making blanket flower one of the finest choices for gardeners seeking exceptional heat tolerance, reliable flowering, and brilliant, long-lasting color. 5. Salvia. Few perennial plants combine extended flowering, outstanding pollinator value, and effortless maintenance as successfully as salvia. While many ornamental flowers produce only a brief seasonal display, salvia continues sending up colorful flower spikes from late spring until the first frost, often blooming for months with remarkably little care. Its upright stems are topped with dense clusters of blossoms in shades of violet, blue, lavender, pink, crimson, and white that rise elegantly above aromatic foliage, adding height and structure to garden borders. Many gardeners underestimate salvia until they witness its remarkable ability to bloom continuously throughout the season. Once established, it quickly proves itself to be one of the most dependable performers in the landscape. One of its greatest advantages is the way it responds to pruning. After the first flush of flowers begins to fade, a simple trimming stimulates vigorous new growth and often produces another impressive wave of blooms. In warm climates, this cycle may repeat several times before autumn arrives, allowing the plant to flower almost without interruption. Pollinators are equally enthusiastic about salvia. Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds gather around its nectar-rich flowers throughout the day, turning blooming plants into some of the busiest areas of the garden. Excellent heat tolerance adds even more value, as many varieties continue flowering during the hottest weeks of summer, when other perennials begin to slow down. Its pleasantly fragrant foliage also helps discourage browsing by deer and rabbits, reducing maintenance even further. Salvia's enormous diversity contributes greatly to its popularity, with compact varieties fitting perfectly into containers, edging, and small gardens, while taller cultivars provide dramatic vertical accents in mixed perennial borders. Flower colors range from deep purple and brilliant scarlet to delicate pink, crisp white, and vivid blue, allowing endless planting combinations. Salvia also pairs beautifully with coneflowers, coreopsis, catmint, black-eyed Susans, and ornamental grasses, helping create colorful borders that remain attractive for the entire growing season. Even between flowering periods, its attractive foliage continues providing texture and structure, ensuring the plants never appear empty or untidy. With species adapted to dry climates, humid regions, urban gardens, and container growing, salvia offers exceptional versatility. For gardeners seeking dependable flowers, outstanding drought tolerance, abundant pollinator activity, and months of vibrant color, salvia consistently ranks among the finest perennial plants available. 6. Yarrow. Yarrow has remained a trusted favorite among gardeners for generations because it combines exceptional toughness with months of reliable flowering while asking for remarkably little attention. Its broad, flat flower clusters rise gracefully above delicate, fern-like foliage, creating a soft, natural appearance that blends effortlessly into almost every garden style. Beginning in early summer and often continuing until late autumn, yarrow provides an extended display that keeps flower borders colorful long after many other perennials have finished blooming. Although its delicate foliage suggests fragility, yarrow is one of the toughest flowering plants available. Over countless generations, it adapted to harsh landscapes characterized by poor soil, blazing sunshine, prolonged drought, and strong winds, allowing it to flourish where more demanding ornamentals often fail. One reason for its exceptionally long flowering period lies in the structure of its blooms. Each large flower head consists of hundreds of tiny individual flowers that open gradually over time, ensuring that fresh blossoms continue replacing older ones throughout the season. Modern breeding has greatly expanded the plant's color palette beyond its traditional white and yellow forms. Today, gardeners can choose from beautiful shades of coral, peach, pink, terracotta, orange, red, soft cream, and warm pastel tones that fit seamlessly into a wide range of landscape designs. Pollinators are naturally drawn to its flat flower clusters, which provide ideal landing platforms for butterflies, bees, hoverflies, and many other beneficial insects that remain active around the plants all season. Yarrow is also perfectly suited to difficult planting sites where other flowers often struggle. Dry hillsides, rocky soil, Exposed borders and neglected corners frequently become ideal locations for this resilient perennial. Rather than merely surviving in these challenging conditions, yarrow often thrives, producing abundant flowers with very little care. Interestingly, excessive watering or overly fertile soil may actually reduce flowering and weaken the plants, making relatively lean conditions preferable. Beyond its value in the garden, yarrow also serves as an excellent cut flower. Fresh stems bring texture and long-lasting color to floral arrangements, while dried flower heads retain both their shape and much of their original color, making them popular for decorative displays. Combining outstanding resilience, strong pollinator support, months of continuous blooms, and exceptionally low maintenance, yarrow quietly proves its value year after year. Although it may never be the most dramatic flower in the border, it consistently delivers dependable beauty and reliable performance season after season. 7. Geranium Rozanne. Most hardy geraniums produce flowers for only a short period before their blooms disappear, and the plants become ordinary green foliage for the rest of the season. Rozanne completely changed that expectation by becoming one of the longest flowering perennial geraniums ever introduced. In many climates, it begins blooming in late spring or early summer, and continues producing flowers without interruption until the first autumn frost. Very few perennial plants can match such an extended flowering display. Its large violet-blue blossoms, highlighted by soft white centers, create a luminous effect that is especially beautiful during the gentle light of early morning and late afternoon. The cool coloring blends effortlessly with almost any planting scheme, making it an excellent companion for a wide variety of garden flowers. What truly distinguishes Rozanne is its remarkable ability to continuously generate fresh blooms throughout the season. Instead of producing one spectacular flush followed by a long pause, the plant constantly replaces fading flowers with new ones, maintaining a colorful display for months. Its spreading growth habit is equally attractive, as the stems gently weave between neighboring plants, soften the edges of borders, and naturally fill empty spaces with lush foliage and blossoms. This relaxed, flowing appearance makes it especially suitable for cottage gardens and informal landscapes. Gardeners also value its adaptability because it tolerates summer heat, performs well in partial shade, and generally resists many common pests and diseases that affect other flowering perennials. Bees regularly visit the nectar-rich blooms, adding movement and wildlife to the garden throughout the season, while the attractive foliage continues providing texture even during brief pauses in flowering. As it gradually spreads, Rozanne also serves as an excellent ground cover, helping suppress weeds and cover exposed soil without becoming invasive. Unlike many flowering plants that require constant pruning and deadheading, this remarkable geranium asks for very little maintenance and continues blooming almost effortlessly. For anyone searching for dependable color from early summer until frost, Rozanne remains one of the finest perennial geraniums ever developed. 8. Coneflower. Coneflowers have earned a well-deserved reputation for combining ornamental beauty, exceptional durability, and outstanding value for wildlife. Yet many gardeners underestimate just how long these remarkable perennials continue blooming. Modern varieties often begin flowering in early summer and remain colorful well into autumn, providing months of reliable blossoms that brighten the landscape. Although the classic purple coneflower remains a timeless favorite, today's cultivars are available in an impressive range of colors including white, yellow, coral, orange, pink, crimson, and even unusual green-flowered forms. Their extended flowering period comes from their continuous production of fresh buds, allowing mature plants to replace fading flowers with new blooms throughout the season, rather than blooming all at once. Their distinctive appearance adds another layer of interest to the garden. Raised central cones surrounded by gracefully arching petals create striking silhouettes that stand out beautifully among ornamental grasses and neighboring perennials, adding texture and visual depth to mixed borders. Coneflowers are also invaluable for supporting wildlife. Bees gather nectar throughout the summer, butterflies frequently visit the blossoms, and when flowering ends, birds feed on the nutritious seeds contained within the dried cones, extending the plant's usefulness far beyond its blooming period. Their deep root systems provide excellent drought resistance, allowing mature plants to thrive during periods of heat and limited rainfall while continuing to perform reliably under challenging conditions. coneflowers blend naturally with other long-blooming perennials such as salvia, yarrow, Russian sage, catmint, black-eyed Susans, and ornamental grasses, creating vibrant borders full of movement, texture, and seasonal interest. Plant breeders have further expanded their appeal by introducing compact varieties, double-flowered selections, unusual bloom forms, and cultivars with improved flowering performance, suitable for gardens of every size. Despite their sophisticated appearance, coneflowers remain remarkably easy to grow, requiring little more than full sunshine and well-drained soil to reward gardeners with years of dependable flowering. Few perennials offer such an outstanding balance of beauty, resilience, extended bloom time, wildlife support, winter interest, and minimal maintenance while asking so little in return. 9. Catmint. Although catmint does not produce enormous blossoms or dramatic flower spikes, it has become one of the most dependable and rewarding perennials found in modern gardens. Rather than relying on bold flowers to command attention, it earns admiration through months of reliable blooming, graceful growth, and effortless performance. Beginning in late spring, catmint covers itself with countless soft blue and lavender-purple flowers that continue appearing until autumn, creating flowing drifts of color that soften garden borders and add a romantic atmosphere to almost any landscape. Its naturally arching stems weave gracefully among neighboring plants, giving borders a relaxed, informal appearance that perfectly suits cottage gardens and naturalistic plantings. Pollinators quickly discover its nectar-rich flowers, with bees visiting almost constantly throughout the day, while butterflies frequently stop to feed, filling the garden with movement and life from early morning until evening. One of catmint's greatest strengths is its remarkable resilience. It continues growing confidently through periods of intense summer heat, tolerates prolonged drought with ease, and its aromatic foliage naturally discourages browsing by deer and rabbits, making it an exceptionally dependable choice for difficult growing conditions. Its flowering season can be extended even further by giving the plants a light trim after the first major flush of blooms, encouraging vigorous new growth and another impressive wave of flowers that lasts for many additional weeks. Catmint also adapts effortlessly to a wide variety of garden styles, performing equally well in formal borders, cottage gardens, pollinator habitats, drought-tolerant landscapes, and naturalistic plantings. Some cultivars remain compact and tidy, while others spill gracefully over pathways, walls, and the edges of flower beds. The cool blue-purple blossoms combine beautifully with roses, lavender, salvia, coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, and ornamental grasses, helping create richly layered displays that remain attractive throughout the growing season. Despite its refined appearance, catmint is exceptionally hardy and actually prefers relatively dry, well-drained soil, with excessive watering often causing more harm than occasional drought. For gardeners looking for a perennial that blooms for months, attracts countless pollinators, requires very little maintenance, and continues looking beautiful throughout the season, catmint consistently proves itself to be one of the most dependable and valuable plants available, quietly earning its place among the finest long-blooming perennials year after year.